Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Blue Mountain Makes podcast. I'm Mary Lynn, and I'm coming to you guys, as always, from the Shenandoah Valley next to the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia. Today is cloudy, gray, rainy. You can probably hear the rain on my skylights. It would be perfect fall knitting weather if it weren't 75 degrees outside. And it's very muggy, so you know me and how hot I get. Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since the last podcast. Sorry for kind of falling off the face of the earth, but October was very busy. October is my favorite month. I love Halloween, and so I usually celebrate basically the whole month. This year, I went to Rhinebeck, which is very exciting. I did not take very many pictures. Definitely didn't take any video. I really meant to, but this was my first time there, and when I got into the festival, it was overwhelming in a good way, but it was a lot. It was a lot of people and stuff to look at, and the animals, and my hands were really dirty because I kept petting sheep, and they were so cute, and yeah, so that was fun. I'll probably talk a little bit more about that later. Then I had a girls trip the next weekend, so we drove up to Poughkeepsie, stayed in Poughkeepsie for the Rhinebeck weekend. Don't think I'll go back to Poughkeepsie. My dog's snoring on the couch next to me, sorry. Yeah, so that was a 7-hour drive that weekend. My husband and I went Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then that following Friday, I drove 3 hours with my girlfriends to West Virginia for a girls trip weekend. So I was so exhausted. I was so tired. And then, of course, last weekend being Halloween, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, had festivities and things to do. So I'm glad to finally be sitting down and doing a little bit of podcasting. As per usual, I always feel like I don't really have anything to talk about, and then when I start gathering up projects, I'm like, oh yeah, that one, oh, and that, oh, and don't forget you started that, because I have a lot of stuff on my needles. Yeah, so why don't we just jump into our usual content. Hope you guys are doing well, and I'm excited that you're here with me, so let's get started. So first off, I have this beautiful Cinnabar shawl. So this is finished. I have worn the absolute heck out of this. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's huge. So my first one I made with Wool of the Andes, Sport, and Chroma fingering weight for the contrast color. And so I didn't like the Wool of the Andes. Felt like it was a little too itchy. So this time I did Lima, I believe. Yeah. Drops Lima for my main color, and then my contrast color is another variation of that chroma worsted. And I didn't really follow the pattern necessarily, like as far as how many repeats and all that, so it's ginormous. It's at least, I held it up next to my other one, and it's at least a third bigger. I have wrapped up in this like a blanket, basically. I just love it because it's like you can either sit and just, be snugly cozy. If I'm sitting at home playing video games, I can wrap it 8 ways to Sunday up around my neck. I've yet to wear a jacket this year. We have had some cold days, but I just grabbed this and wrapped myself up in all my cozy goodness. And yeah, took it to Poughkeepsie. Like I've already got some pulls and stuff in it. I don't know if you can see, but oh well. It's being very well loved. We took it to Poughkeepsie, and we didn't really think about the fact that you should probably have like reservations to go out to dinner, and it was our anniversary weekend, so we definitely wanted to go out somewhere other than like McDonald's. So we found this cute bar in downtown Poughkeepsie, and it was completely packed. Like we get inside and they're like, oh, it's gonna be a 45-minute wait at least. If you want to try to get to the bar, you can. It was packed too, so you couldn't even like have a drink while you waited. And they said, well, we have an outdoor seating area if you want to sit outside. So I thought they would have like warmers, So I didn't have a jacket, just wearing a t-shirt and jeans. My husband had a jacket on, and we got outside, and it was pretty chilly. But I just wrapped up in the wool. I probably looked like an idiot with my... It did not match what I was wearing at all, but I didn't care. I was so toasty and warm. That poor thing, he sat there in his little thin jacket and shivered. But love it, love it, love it. Obviously, it's my second one, so I will be making probably more. I took it on my girls' weekend, and my girlfriend eyeballed it the whole time, and she was like, can you make me one? I'm like, yeah, probably. So as I said last time, if you're thinking about making it, you really ought to. It's just lovely. And these colors really, I was a little concerned about the color choice. I think last time I talked about it, the contrast color is Sunset on the Lake Sunset, something like that. And as it was knitting up, I felt like it was a little too contrasty between some of the oranges and the blues. But all together, it's gorgeous. And I have one particular shirt that matches this color. So it's just, yeah, it's perfect. I love it. 10 out of 10. We'll knit again. My only other finished object is another shawl. Go figure. And that is the Boneyard Shawl by Stephen West. If I can unwind it. It's been folded up and in a drawer for a minute. So there's that. It's also large. This is made with Hobby's Dolce Cashmere. I don't remember the colorway, but this was one of the yarns that they had sent to me to review, and it is absolutely lovely. It's just drapey and soft. This is a gift for my mother-in-law for Christmas, and I think she's going to love it. Stitch definition is fantastic. Yeah, I'm about it. So, this started it on a size 4. It's a top down. This is a free pattern, by the way, so if you're interested in a quick knit, an easy knit, this is a great gift, I think. I used one ball of the Dolce Cashmere and just kind of knit until I ran out, and that's where I decided to end it. I started on size 4s. I wish I would have kept going with size 4. It makes a little bit more of a drapey fabric, but I don't remember what project I needed those 4s for. So I stole them, and I knit the bulk of it on 3s. And it's not bad. Like, it's still, still super drapey. But I think I like the fabric I was getting better with the 4. But either way, it's done. Check off one Christmas gift. Hoorah. I hope she wears it. If she doesn't, that's okay. Yeah, it's so slinky. You just boop. And while I was at Rhinebeck, I told my husband, to finish the gift or whatever, we should get a handmade shawl pin. So, I don't know if it'll really show up on the camera. I don't know, I'm going to take it out of the packaging. But it's a wooden pin. It's very reasonably priced, so check off that for Christmas. Yay! Got a couple of Christmas knits I'm working on and or have ordered for. And yarn has not come in for a sweater I want to make, and I'm starting to really sweat it considering it's November. We'll see. Fingers crossed that comes in soon. Yeah, those are my only 2 finished objects for this month, which doesn't sound like a lot, especially considering it's been a month, but I have a lot of projects started. Let's see. As far as works in progress go, you guys have seen this one, but I have made quite a bit of progress on it. This is my Birch Pullover by Andrea and Mowry. I am using Drops Yarn Flora, I believe. It's a wool alpaca mix, and it's coming along quite well. I've got most of my sleeve done. I am using stitch markers. You have to decrease every... She does her stuff by inches rather than by rows, just in case you're not getting the right row gauge. So I'm just trying to be a good knitter this time and mark where all of my decreases are, and then when I make this sleeve, which is still on hold, I'll take the marker off of the finished sleeve and put it on this one and kind of keep track that way. But this is lovely. This is working out to be so nice. It's going to be such a nice wardrobe staple. I love the raglan details on it. It's just simple and nice. And I think, you see a lot of people that talk about it's a lot of knitting. And it is. I'm making the size 3 using size US 2 needles. And it's half fisherman's rib. So, yes, it's very, very squishy. And it is a lot of knitting, but it's not hard knitting. It's very much a TV kind of project thing. You have to keep an eye on making sure you're picking up, do it under the loops on the knit purl row, but it's really not bad. I am using magic loop for my sleeve. I really wanted to use my ChowGoo lace shorties, and I think I made it this far. Also, there's a line here. Don't know if that'll block out, but I'm hoping. And I also don't know if it's because I was using those shorties. But it was slow. It was a little slow. They're really small tips. And I kind of gave up and was like, whatever, going back to my 5-inch Xiaogus. These are not the interchangeables, but doing the magic loop, it's going pretty fast. And it's easy to, I mean, I know it's a whole sweater, but like, I do get my oil change the other day, so I just chucked this in my bag and worked on my sleeve in the waiting room. People stared at me like I was crazy. Which is funny because they were all older, so usually older people will be like, oh, I used to knit or whatever, but they looked at me like I had 3 heads. Maybe it was because I was in a car dealership. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm really excited to wear this. And, yeah, I put it on, like, just to test the body. And my husband walked by, and he was like, that looks store-bought. I was like, what a compliment. Only knitters would think that, right? But, yeah, I'm very excited. Can't wait to wear it. Yay. Hopefully, I doubt, if I'm back on my 2-week schedule, I doubt this will be done next time we chat. I started this in September on my vacation with my husband to Maine. So I've been working on it pretty steadily for a little over a month. But, yeah, I don't know. I have so many other things going on. If I just monogamously made the sleeves, I could be done. But I don't foresee that happening. So, yes, Birch Pullover, loving it. I wish I could like zoom out a little bit more, but it looks really weird when I zoom out, when I'm just talking. We're having to do another whole setup where I usually like to record. It's very dark in that room because it's so dark outside. So I'm in my living room again with my dog. Anyways, on to the next one. I have like a whole basket full of stuff over here. Alright, so my next one is another Andrea Mowry. Like 3 in a row. This is her big comfy Cardi. She just put out last month, I believe. Not a whole lot to talk about on this one. I have not made a whole lot of progress. I'm using Knit Picks palette. If you know me, it's one of my favorites. It's very cheap. If you order 10, you get a discount, and you can mix and match your colors. You can get it from Knit Picks or Crochet.com. Crochet.com has a lower free shipping threshold. Blah, blah, you've heard all that before. I went with this marled yarn because I thought it was going to be a lot browner when I ordered it online. So the big comfy Cardi is very oversized, and you basically just make a giant square, and then you fold the square and kind of make your arms that way, and then you pick up along the collar for this big fluffy mohair or alpaca collar. So I went with Kids Silk mohair from Drops, and I got like this really chocolatey brown pretty color because I thought this was gonna be like I was kind of expecting like latte colored. It's not. I feel like that's more gray. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know. I don't think that this is something that I'm gonna wear out much. I'm envisioning this with like yoga pants and a tank top and just chilling out on the couch all day and just being cozy, but we'll see. I don't love how the texture of this is coming out. It just kind of looks like a mess, and I think that's mostly due to the fact that it's such a high contrast marl on this yarn. I'm not ripping it out for sure. I'm like 3 skeins in at this point. It's just, this is very much my backup, kind of like I'm bored or I'm tired of my other projects. I picked this one up because it's a very easy stitch pattern on it. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say about it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I guess that's where I'm going with it. I wish almost, it's a really weird, almost broken rib, but not quite broken rib. And I don't love that texture. It just seems, I don't know, it's almost like you made a mistake and then you just like kept deliberately repeating that mistake to make it not a mistake. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it looks really nice in her sample, because she used that single color yarn, and I think it's just less busy. That's what I'm going for. It's way less busy. This is very busy. It's not terrible, as I said, but it's also not what I was expecting. So that might also be why I'm not like super focused on getting this done. And because it's just a giant square, it's like making a blanket. I think you have to get like 30 plus inches lengthwise before you start constructing the actual body. So it's going to be a while on that. This is going to be a long-term kind of project, which I'm okay with. I would much rather get like Christmas stuff out of the way and then this just be like my background kind of thing. But yeah, there's that. It smells very woolly. Sometimes I just sniff it. I love this yarn. I love palette. I have this like big storage bins. I have like the box container or whatever. That's what I keep all my yarn in, and one whole bin is just palette yarn. I just love it. So yes, this is knit on 4s. It's a huge oversized cardigan. The only thing that's really fitted are the cuffs. So I think I went with a 2, probably a size 3. Pretty much across the board with Andrea Mowry, I go for a size 3 just to be on the safe side. I did actually meet stitch gauge, which was shocking. But it was funny because like as I'm knitting this, I'm like, is this getting wide enough? I mean, But I keep forgetting too, like the collar you pick up, I mean, it's at least this wide, maybe more. So there's that. This will be a lovely thing to snuggle up in this winter, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to at this point. It's really hard to get in the winter, like the sweater weather season. I'm looking out my window and it's beautiful yellow leaves that I need to rake. But I was in shorts yesterday. It's gonna be 80 on Monday. It's just, why? I want the cool weather. But I think next week's gonna be like down in the 40s or 50s. My grandma always used to say it's how you get pneumonia. Don't think that's true, but it is not fun though to go from open windows to freezing at night. Alright, so there's that. And then, so last time we talked, I had finished the color work on the it's Diron Janu's Witching Hour sweater, Swancho. And I hated the Swancho. I just can't do it. So I stopped I bound off the body, looked at it so I was going to make a pillow out of it and just keep it for like Halloween decoration. And then the more I looked at it, the more I was like, that's good yarn that I could use to make something that I will wear and I will enjoy. So I did rip it out. That was a lot of winding. That was a lot. Like it was one whole morning of TV watching, just ripping that sucker out. So I got it all up in balls and I purchased the Halibut sweater pattern from Caitlin Hunter. I've been eyeballing that thing forever. I don't know what it is. I love the fish detail. It's just so funny. Like, I don't fish. My family doesn't fish. I was on the Ravelry page, and there's all these people who are like, oh, you know, grew up halibut fishing with my family, and it makes me think of that, and yada yada, whatever. I'm like, I just like fish. So I'm making the halibut sweater out of it. And here is my progress so far. I've got it on small needles, so I don't know if it's going to be like super easy to see the stitch pattern, but I am almost done with the yoke. Can you see that? You can. It looks beautiful. Yay. So you can I've almost gotten the head of the little fishies. Very excited. Kind of, you know, doing the thing. I'm like, please fit. Please fit. I think it will. It's just, these are such short cable on this that it looks a lot smaller than it is. This pattern is meant to be worn with some generous positive ease. I went for the size 2. I'm using size 6 needles, which is what I used for the sweater I ripped out, so I already knew what gauge I was going to get on the collar work, which was nice. I did remember to check that before I ripped it out. And her pattern gives you options for a crew neck, a mock neck, or a turtleneck. This is the mock neck version, which I think should sit about there on me, which will be lovely. I'm very excited about this. It's a lot of color work. It is a very large chart, but I'm done with the increases. Actually finished the increases like 4 rounds ago, I think. So now it's just following the rest of the, I think I have like 12 rows left, maybe a little bit more. And then I'll be done with that, and I'll split for the sleeves, and then it's just going to be easy cruising stockinette body. I don't think there's any color work on the hem or the sleeves, but I have seen people that have added it, so my camera is about to die, so I will come back in a little bit and finish filming this. But yes, so far this has been very fun knit. I really like the colors. I love my fishies. I just hope it fits well. So this one might actually, I will definitely have the body of this done by the next time we chat. Sleeves, who knows? It's a DK weight, so it goes pretty quickly. I'm using the Lima, Drops Lima for both colors. And yeah, it's so much faster than all these other like fingering weight projects I have. So this has been a bit of a relief. Okay, I'm going to charge my camera battery, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Okay, it's been about an hour. Side note, in between charging the camera, I've been watching Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix. It's a weird show. It's good horror. But I'm almost finished with episode 4, The Outside, where this girl has like issues with her appearance, and it just kind of goes downhill from there, and it's really weird. So I'm in a strange headspace right now, but anyways, let's get back into knitting. My last work in progress I'm going to share this week is the Twists and Turns MKAL, Seam West. Clue 1 was a horrific nightmare. I barely made any progress on the first clue. I cast on October 4th like we were supposed to. I was all excited, and it was such a nightmare with all the bind-offs and cast-ons that I think it just sat. Like, between that and all the traveling we did, this was not a travel project. Yeah. So, that having been said, I'm only about a quarter of the way through clue 2. I'm a little slow, but that's okay. So, my first color is this, that I can't remember the name of, but I will put on the screen. I use this for my Nomad tee, so I've used this yarn before. It's an alpaca blend. It's really nice. Love the color. I got it from my local yarn shop. My accent color is this very bright orange that I got while I was in Maine. It's a Boston Dyer, Dirty Dye Works, I believe. Dirty Water Dye Works. And then my third color I don't have with me, but it is Drops Alpaca. So far, this is my progress, such as it is. How do I feel about it? I was kind of worried about this orange, that it was going to be too bright or not match the other two, because these two colors both have alpaca in them, and the orange does not. It's just a merino. But it's really pretty. It's got a nice sheen to it. It's really good stitch definition. It's going to be bright. Oof, got wool in my mouth. To me, a very bright shawl. And yes, I have cheated and looked, obviously, at the end result. I watched one of Steven's videos this week, and he was like, if you are still trying to avoid spoilers, get over it. So, I'm not trying to avoid spoilers. I don't love it. It's part of the mystery. I like the shawl when it's on people, when people are wearing it, especially when they have, like, this section in the front, and then it just kind of all drapes. But the shape of it by itself, I don't like at all. Yeah, I feel like it's weird that the middle section's so much longer than the arms of it. I guess I'm not like a symmetrical person in learning. But, that having been said, I am going to finish it. This random stitch marker is here because somehow I managed to drop a stitch. And it was just kind of floating around, and I'm glad I noticed it. But I need to just stitch it down in there. It is fun. It is different. However, he just put out his pattern for the Aurora cabin for the hybrid knit along, and that is stunning. That I will for sure be making. That's gonna be a lot of knitting though. I think you have to have like 1,000 grams. Does that sound right? No. No, you gotta be 1,000 grams. It's whatever. It's a lot of yarn. 1,000 grams of yarn. Can you imagine? Anyways. might have to cut all that out. Maybe it is 1,000 grams. Am I being dumb? You need 5 colors. It's 500 grams. Jesus. I need more coffee. Anyway, that's where I'm at with the twists and turns, not so MKAL anymore. It's not a #1 project for me. It is a little bit here and there, just kind of fun. So, that's that, and I think that's it for my whips. So, I wanted to chat a little bit about Rhinebeck, just for a few minutes. It was a lot of fun. It was so busy, and I think it was really interesting. One of the vendors I talked to said that he was like, "Oh, you think this is busy? This is nothing. Usually you can't even move." It was so busy in some sections. We went on Saturday. In the morning was okay, wasn't too bad, but by the end of the day, like, I was standing in line for something, and my husband had to, like, get into the flow of people traffic, veer off to tell me something, get back into the flow, get to the end, and then get back in the other. Like, you couldn't just walk. It was insane. He was such a trooper. Bless his heart. We got there, gates opened at 9. We got there about 9:30. Hold, please. Katie. Katie, no. No shooting. Anyways, we got there at 9:30, and we walked the whole thing up and down every single aisle, pet all the sheep, looked at all the cute animals, and then his sister got there, so we met up with her and did the whole thing again, more or less. I did wear my alpenglow sweater, and I did meet up on the hill for the picture, which was a lot of fun. I got to see Andrea and Mowry. Yeah. Plays it a little later. I got to meet Andrea and Mowry. I saw her and her husband walking. Oh, there goes a dog. Walking by, and pointed her out to my husband, and he was like, "Are you gonna go say hello, or are you just gonna, like, stand there and be a creep?" And so I stood there, and it was just really creepy. I was like, "Oh my gosh." It was like seeing a celebrity. It was so funny. And then of course he, doesn't know her from anybody, and he's just like, "Yep, there she is. I've seen her on our TV." And I'm like, "Yes." I saw Ray and his husband from Needles at the Ready. I recognized them based off their sweaters because I knew what they were going to wear. And I didn't say hi to them, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because they had just put their dog down. So I'm sure that was really, I don't even know how they made it through that weekend. Should I go along and find another? Right now. Let me finish my podcast. And the sun's out now. I don't know if the color's blowing out. Whatever. Anyways. So yes, I did get my picture taken with her. It is a really bad picture of me. She looks stunning as always. So it's my own little private picture. But it was just really fun to be able to see everybody there for the same thing. People were knitting in line, sitting down, or meeting up with each other, talking about their sweaters and how they made things, and it was really fun. So I did not buy any yarn at all, none. I made Sam walk a third time around because first we went just to see what was out there, then we went with his sister and her friend, and then I finally said, okay, I'm ready to spend money, let's go back, because I knew I wanted fiber. So I bought a wheel, and I paid 8% sales tax. New York is insane. Hindsight, probably shouldn't have done that, but I knew I had been researching wheels for a while, and I knew I was interested in the Kiwi 3, and I had seen this braid of fiber early on in the day, and I just knew I had to have it. I wish I would have bought it when I first saw it, because it took me forever to find that vendor again, so we'd go all the way through all the madness in the afternoon. It was super busy. Finally find the fiber, and she had a reasonable price on the wheels, and I asked her if she only had the the lacquered one is more expensive than the raw wood one, so she only had the lacquered one out there, and I was like, you don't happen to have like a stash of extra wheels somewhere, and I really expected her to say no, and she was like, oh, actually, that lady over there's bringing us, our back stock. So I walked out of there with a wheel. A lot of money. And I think it's really funny because the same time that I bought mine, Casey Apple of Young Folk Knits bought hers, and she has the same one. And she's spun up like a whole bobbin, and she's planning on making like a hat for her kids, I think. I'm not. It's not something I just sat down and did. It's obviously a skill. It's difficult. I was going to put it together by myself. I was doing like I don't need help. I can do it myself. Blah, blah, blah. And I have it in our den, in our basement. I think I pulled all the pieces out and I just stared at it, and I came upstairs and I was like, I'm going to need some help, Sam. So he's very good with that kind of stuff. So he came down, put it all together for me, and then it comes with some like sample fibers. He's like, oh, I've been watching this stuff. I've been watching you watch videos, and it can't be that hard. And I saw people do it all weekend at Rhinebeck, because a lot of the vendors would spin in between. My dog's like rubbing her face on the floor, being all cute. In between, like sales, they would sit and spin at their wheels, which was really cool. He's like, oh, it's just easy. It's just a breeze. I'll just sit down and do it. I said, oh, really? You're just going to sit down and do it? He's like, yeah, it can't be that hard. He didn't want any advice. Not that I had much to give, but, leader yarn. You gotta feed it into the oh, it was bad. It was bad. He finally, 20 minutes later, comes stomping upstairs. He's like, that thing's stupid. It doesn't work. There are machines for this, and I hate it. He's not a very patient person. He's a industrial mechanic, so he is very much of the mind that there's a machine somewhere that can do everything easier, which is true, but I also had to tell him, that kind of defeats the purpose of spinning your own yarn. I swear, this is the 4th toy I've had to take from this dog. I actually feel really bad. Hold on. Honey. Leftovers, I know. I'll get back to you in just a minute. I just want to finish this podcast. So anyways, I have a wheel. I'm not very good at it. The sample fiber was really hard to spin. I don't really know what the fiber was, but I did buy a bunch of prepared roving to spin up undyed. And I didn't buy anything terribly expensive. I didn't buy anything dyed except for that one braid, which is this braid. Ta-da! This is a Rhinebeck colorway by Knits and Pearls, and I just thought, I walked past it early in the day and I just thought it was so stunning, so I had to have it. And it's very long, and then I wore it like a scarf because why not? But I haven't done anything with it. I think this is kind of going to be like a precious fiber. Once I kind of figure out what it is that I'm doing, I will spin it. But I have started spinning some of my I think I got Cordell and BFL, and I found that the BFL is actually easier to spin than the sample pieces that came with the wheel. I don't know if it's a staple length or whatever. I really don't know much about what I'm doing. I do have Yarnitecture, the book by, I can't remember her name, but I've been reading that, and that's helped a lot. And I've watched a couple videos, and yeah, I actually have like a quarter of a bobbin actually spun, and it actually looks like thread and not just a mess of sheep fur. So it's been very exciting. Yeah, so that's going to be a fun and interesting journey. I want this is just special. It's the first thing I've ever bought, but I'm going to ask for Christmas. I'm just going to ask people to buy me fiber. Whatever they see that they like color-wise, I'll just start spinning. I'm just really excited. I think the idea of being able to take something from beginning to end and just completely make it yourself is fantastic. I really want to get a sheep when we move, and a llama, or an alpaca rather. To probably we can't just have one, so I'd have to have a couple, but we wanted to move this year, and then the housing market went insane, and now the interest rates are through the roof, so we're stuck for now. Not that it's a big deal, but no sheep in my near future, but hopefully in the next couple of years I'll have sheep, and I'll actually know how to spin the wool, and I'll be able to shear my sheep and clean it and card it and spin it and knit it, and it'll be mine from beginning to end. I just think that's so cool. So that's all I've got. It's a lot of mess, a lot of back and forth. Sorry for rambling. I feel like rusty. It's so weird. You've wouldn't think that you would feel rusty because you're just talking to a camera, but I just really feel like I'm off my game. Also, that show I was watching like really messed with my head. Probably not the most positive thing to watch before you start recording. But now I gotta finish that episode. Like, I left off where she's like covered in this goop. This woman has like low self-esteem, so she's covered herself in this horrible like retinoid, and it's just tearing up her skin. And yeah, I'm not gonna give away the spoilers, but it's wild. If you like horror, it's definitely the whole show is definitely worth a watch. They're really good stories. Yeah. Oof. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, hanging out with me for a little bit. I hope to be back again in 2 weeks, back on my normal schedule. Fingers crossed, life gets in the way. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a fabulous day and you get a little bit of knitting or crocheting or spinning or baking or whatever brings you joy. Make some time for yourself and do some of that. I'll see you guys next time.